Welcome back to Gunners Unfiltered, episode 4, with my boy Semir from Casuals FC. First of all, how you living, my brother?
First of all, I just want to say I'm back. I'm glad to be back.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for having me as always. I enjoy these. But yes, I could be better. I could
Yeah.
be better. I mean, you know, I'm an answer every week with this club. Life could be better.
Well, it's Gunners Unfiltered indeed. And speaking of your unfiltered comments, we need your commentary for this
Mm-hmm.
latest match that occurred versus Newcastle, the Carabao Cup. Another 2-0
Mm-hmm.
loss,
Mm-hmm.
pushing us out of the cup straight on the plane to Dubai. Just talk
Mm-hmm.
about that.
I mean, what can I even say? Couple of things, right? First things first.
Oh, man.
I think Eddie Howe is one of 9 managers now in the Premier League
Mm.
that has been in a final more than Mikel Arteta. All right, let's think about that now. It's all, we always talk about, we have bigger fish to fry, right? We have to go for the big guns, the Champions League, the Premier League, but you don't even win cups. It's been 5 years now since the FA Cup, nothing at all. 750 million spent, 750. I'm going to always emphasize that number, 750 million spent. So that's important to notice. The second thing is, I mean, what more can I say? Honestly, it's honestly poetic. Like that game showed us the levels of strikers versus their striker and our striker. I have in the background, as you can see, that's one of 2 transfers Arsenal must make this summer. No questions, no questions asked. And it's just absolute quality. The way he toyed with the sleeper the whole night, he's probably half his weight, and he was so creative. He was so fast.
Yeah.
His array of finishing abilities. I mean, I was just wowed. It was absolutely incredible display from Isak, and they deserve it. They 100% deserve it.
Yeah.
4-0 argument, home and away. The Newcastle fans were on it. They were lit. I hope they win the whole thing. Honestly, do. But I say this to you every week, Nigel. Nothing about what happens with Arsenal. The games that they play, the games that they put up to, they show us. I'm not surprised. No, not surprised at all. And yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
I totally agree with you, man. That the atmosphere was
Yeah.
incredible. So shout out to the Magpies and their fans.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac, you said it, man. Isaac it showed us what we
Mm-hmm.
lack. Just keep it blunt. It
Mm-hmm.
showed us what we lack. A striker.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to Kai up front, it was two different. It was two different ball games, man.
Oh, God.
Man for man, every player on Newcastle was better than every player on Arsenal. That's just being blunt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Defense was lackluster. We didn't know what hit us. It was like a freight train just coming, pow, and just knocked us. It was I think our worst playing from the back. We see from Raya. Raya's usually composed and he's just super intricate with his passes, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just chaos in the back, like in terms of passing out the back, just building up the play.
Mm-hmm.
We had no composure. We had no like fight at all, and it was just sad to see. It was super frustrating knowing that had a mountain to climb. We're being down 2 in aggregate.
Mm-hmm.
We tried. To be fair, when the game started, it was all energetic, and then from there, as soon as they got that offside goal, it was like downhill from there. Like we tried, it was rough, and yeah.
Yeah.
Back to what you said, I think we do need a striker. It's evident, it's clear,
Yes.
and hopefully, I would say just this Dubai trip because we have a little break now. Just hopefully that Dubai trip just gets us
Yeah.
hopefully in a mindset of winning something, at least the Champions League or the Premier League. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, on a flip side, I would say the positive for this whole thing is like just seeing Tottenham getting knocked out as well. You know, like they
Yeah.
played today, which is Thursday,
Yeah.
so they got knocked out. They got clapped up by Liverpool, so that was good to see at least a little positive from the cup run that we had. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, I think Arteta got to take this one on the chin, and yeah, he just got to really own this one because yeah, we should have done business in the transfer windows. Speaking of that, transitioning into the transfer window, just talk about our transfer window. We had one bid for like Ollie Watkins, and that was pretty much it. I think all the fans knew that we wasn't gonna get anyone in, but we were just wishful thinking. But just what are your thoughts on the whole transfer window as a whole? for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I say this to you a lot. This is a common theme in this channel. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. There's historically Arsenal. They're allergic to the transfer window in January for some reason. Like it's like they don't even acknowledge it, like it exists. It makes no sense to me at all. Clearly, the Cronkies, the board, they have no intentions of winning anything this year. It's all about making profit, and if you make Champions League, that's profit, right? So I'm sure that was the game plan going into it. I'm sure Mikel was disappointed. And in addition to that, too, I heard new reports this week from the Athletic from Dave Ornstein is that it was actually Villa that came to us, right? They offered Watkins to us
Oh,
for
wow.
I believe 60 mil, right? They came to us because they had PSR issues, and Arsenal. I could not believe what I read. They lowballed them saying we'll take him for 40 mil. If not, forget about it. So it's like clearly this institution is not serious. They're not serious about winning because a guy like Watkins would do us a favor, right? If he, I mean, for the future, maybe not long term, but if we got Watkins, there's a very high chance we win something this year. Even the Carabao Cup last night. If Watkins up front, who knows how the game could have been? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And so, in addition to that, too, not even a loan deal. Like,
Yeah.
I did not understand what I saw. And then, in addition to that, to make matters worse, right? Mathis Tell, a market opportunity signing, a guy that was on loan, a guy that could easily improve our attack, goes to our direct rivals. We have nothing to play for this season, except for tonight, the Carabao Cup, which again they got knocked out of.
Yeah.
I know they still have the FA Cup and Europa League, but again, how do we lose Mathis Tell to our direct rivals? Not even Man United, Tottenham, who are way worse than Man United.
Yeah.
So that's shocking. It's absolutely shocking and it's disgraceful. And I just don't know. You think there's upside. You think the Cronkies are finally care about us, backing Mikel Arteta. The fans are unity again after the Wenger, being handed out. It was toxic for a while. We're finishing second 3 years in a row now, hopefully. And off the summer of signing Declan Rice for 100 million, to pull off that summer transfer window and to not give us anything in January. Oh my brother, let me tell you something. If Arsenal don't have a generational summer transfer window, if Arsenal don't bring in two Mavericks, if we don't pay minimum 200 million this summer, I think we have to protest. We have to protest. We have to riot. We have to boycott because it's insane. It's insanity.
100%. I totally agree with you. I feel the same way. We all know that the transfer window, we probably wasn't going to do any business. It was just wishful thinking, just
Mhm.
hoping Arteta just comes around and just signs someone. But
Mhm.
just to go back to Arteta, I think his look at it is like you can't be bigger than the club itself. Like you get a player in, he has to be like a yes man kind of thing, just fit
Mhm.
into that rotation, fit into the whole system that he's trying to create.
Mhm.
Um, and I think certain players, he probably sees that like, oh, they might be bigger than the club once they hit the Premier League and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that, based on their
Mhm.
social profiles and how they move and stuff like that. So he probably doesn't want that to trickle down to like the youngins, the Sakas,
Mhm.
the Ethans, the Lulas,
Mhm.
Skellies.
Mhm.
But on the flip side, we saw it from the Newcastle game. My boy Martinelli, he went down with an injury. He's probably out with a hamstring, probably like what, a month, 16 weeks. I mean, 6 weeks probably. That's
Mhm.
another player that's gone that we could have used a transfer
Mhm.
to fill that position, because you got to account for injuries no matter what. The beginning of the season,
Yep.
the middle of the season, and the end of
Yep.
the season.
Mhm.
In the
Mhm.
cup, that we saw it last year with Timber.
Mhm.
Timber was out for pretty much the whole season for those
Mhm.
couple games that he played.
Mhm.
It kind of affected our team and our moving forward. So looking again, hopefully Martinelli's all right, because we do need him. He's a
Prayers
critical
up.
part to us doing anything now that Saka's going, and you saw Ethan came on and he didn't really do much. He
Mhm.
tried obviously, but it's a
Mhm.
lot to ask for a young kid.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, it just sucks, because where do we go now? Martinelli's hurt potentially. We have Ben White still hurt. We have a bunch of players still hurt. Jesus up front is still hurt.
Mhm.
Saka is still hurt. So our team is slim pickings going into the second half of the season, which
Mhm.
Doesn't look good, man. A lot of teams see that and they're gonna use that to their benefit. In the team talks in the locker room, they're gonna be like, "Hey, y'all better beat this team. They don't have soccer, they don't have this person," and that's gonna just motivate teams
Yeah,
to like beat us, you know. And we
yeah,
see it last year. We bottled it with Southampton.
mhm.
You never know. We might play at Southampton thinking, "Oh, it's easy park," and then Ramsdale, it's like Superman in the sticks, you know. So
Yeah,
it just you see the repetitiveness from last season coming back to haunt us this season, and
yeah.
something's got to change. I don't know what. Hopefully, the new sporting director who comes in, whoever comes in, could shed some light and just
Mhm,
uh, bring in some players. Like you said, we need that 200 million
mhm.
signing, 200 million in the bank, so we could just do some really good and smart spending. Obviously, we don't want to just go for
Yeah,
the biggest name and just
yeah,
splurge, just
yeah.
put our financials
Mhm,
down slim pickings. But
yeah, yeah.
you're totally right, man. It's rough.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that. I think, I want to touch on that point that you said earlier about Mikel. I think to me it's clear to everybody now, to me as well, that there's a dictatorship going on in Arsenal. He has too much power. I think aside from the Cronkies, he is the most powerful man in Arsenal. And I think it's affecting the people above him as well. I think I 100% believe Edu being out has to do with Mikel having too much power, right?
Yeah,
In addition
article
to that
came out
too,
about that. Yeah,
yeah, it's a manager, right, that doesn't understand that this is a player's game before anything, right? You can
Mhm.
only do so much. Tactics can only do so much. If you think about the mistake Raya did to Declan Rice last night, right? That's I want you to see that, Nigel. That is not that's a rehearsed pattern of play, right? That's not Raya thinking for himself. That's not Raya assessing the situation. Because in soccer, just like any other thing else, right? They call it, quote unquote, hoofing it. Look, there's somebody there, just hit it out. But
Mhm.
again, that's the thing. It's a rehearsed pattern, right? These are players that can't think for themselves. He has drilled them. They're all robots, and it's all patterns of play. That's all it is. And that's why when the going gets tough, the players can think for themselves. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
There's no individual brilliance. There's no ounce of individualism. It's all rehearsed patterns of play. In addition to that, too, and that's our that might be a downhill moving forward too. And he's not recruiting individual brilliant players like Aubameyang and Ozil and them because he
yeah,
behavioral issues or whatnot. But the reality is, it's a player's game. We have to give the power to them. We're not recruiting guys like Osimhen, Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, or others. Maybe because of I don't know because they probably won't track back play defense for Arteta like Martinelli do and Saka. Those wingers, our wingers are borderline wingbacks with how much defensive work they do.
yeah.
I think a couple days ago I saw a list of the most like defensive recoveries. I saw 10 fullbacks, and then I saw Saka in there. What is Saka doing in a fullback recovery stat line? It's
100%.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It is absolutely ridiculous, and that is Mikel's doing. In addition to that, I think yeah, Martinelli is injured. Positive news. I think this morning I saw Bukayo Saka and Ben White looking fit. They were on the flight to Dubai.
yeah,
So you wouldn't go to Dubai unless you're going to train with the team. So I think
fair.
these are positive signs, in my opinion. I'm hoping they come back as soon as possible. But yeah, and also I want to touch on too the sporting director that's supposed to come in. Right, I don't know if you heard. It's an internal
Yeah,
promotion. Jason Ado, I believe is his name, which means
the
there's a
board
very
like
high chance Mikel still retains his power. There's a very high chance we don't bring in a new director of football that will challenge Mikel and challenge his ideology. So again, I think it's the same cycle over again. I don't know what the future looks like, but we'll just have to see.
100%. Just going back to that Newcastle game as well. Based on how we looked and how we played, just
Mhm,
looking forward to the Champions League when we play like a Real Madrid or Barcelona, who has those players and that team is just on another level.
mhm,
Certain teams in the Champions League,
mhm.
how are we going to shape up with the atmosphere as well? Because I think that was like a preview for the
Oh
Champions
yeah,
League. Because
oh
the
yeah.
atmosphere there in the Champions League is going to probably be the same as the Newcastle game.
Mhm, mhm,
The fans and everything, the
mhm,
players who are just like so intense for Newcastle that last game. It's going to be a preview to the Champions League as well.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think we have what it takes if we get into those positions with those atmospheres and with the team that we have right now, so depleted with all the injuries. I don't think we're gonna fare well. We're gonna need a hope and a prayer just to get by those games. But we've been doing good so far because we have, like, to be fair, wasn't the most right. The most like a Barcelona. It wasn't like a crazy teams that we played. So until we get onto those knockout rounds and we play like a Bayern Munich or something like that, with the atmosphere there, it's gonna be a whole different ballgame. I'm not sure we're ready for that. You could see it from the Newcastle game, man.
100%, 100%. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, I have nothing more to say, but to say you're right. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we will be ready. I can only hope and pray that if we are, if we do go into deep into later rounds, semis or quarters, Bukayo Saka is as fit as ever.
Pray. Yeah. Hopefully he's back and hopefully he's ready to go. Hopefully Martinelli is back as well, because he'll probably be on the left and Saka's going to be on the right. Usual suspects doing their thing. But again, on a positive note, let's switch the focus. We over the weekend we played Man City, and it was a humbling experience for Man City and for Haaland and for that whole team. Just some thoughts in that game with that 5-1 smacking.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I was shocked. I didn't expect the 5-1 battering for sure. In my preview, as I had said, it was going to be a 2-2 game.
Yeah.
But yes, I cannot believe what I saw. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why the boys are on fire. I don't know why City are making mistakes. But credit to Mikel. I think I'm gonna praise Mikel when he deserves it, and I'm gonna criticize him when he deserves it. But credit to Mikel. I think that high press we had with Odegaard and Havertz up top, with Rice sniffing the danger. We caused a lot of mistakes and we capitalized, and that's what happens, right? When you create chaos and when you make other teams have mistakes and you capitalize, like, that's how you win games. The issue with Arsenal is we don't capitalize, right? We never did. Every time we make the other team, give up the ball, Havertz misses a chance. Odegaard misses a chance. So it's like these things, they start adding on. And at some point, you don't capitalize. 90th minute, the team scores, and then next thing you know, we have a Ricardo. We draw a game. But no, it was a crazy result. The kids, oh my God, the kids. Lewis Skelly, and Ethan Nwaneri. I can only applaud those boys. So brave. They rose up to the challenge, scored amazing goals. I cannot believe they're only 18 and 17. Honestly, it's a blessing. I mean, to me, when we Bukayo Saka coming out of the academy, it was a blessing. I thought the next academy wonder kid we will produce would be the next 5 years from now, maybe 10. To think we copy and pasted and we got Ethan Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly is honestly a blessing. I think the future is looking very bright. I mean, I was very happy. I was incredibly happy.
Yeah, no, you said it. It was probably the most crucial match of the season. You said it, and I think it was. And we definitely I think what Arteta did, he probably hyped the boys up in the locker room, got them to mentally there, and from there you could see it in the warm-ups before they even kick the ball off in the team talk. You could just see them talking to each other, and you could see little Skelly was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. He was ready for it. They were all ready for it. And it was beautiful to see. Beautiful, like you said, to see Lewis Skelly and Ethan score those goals. The last minute goal, that was a beautiful replica of the Champions League, I believe. It was beautiful. Yeah. But just shifting the focus again, going back to that Newcastle game, because it was such a completely different in terms of style play, in terms of how they just went into that game. Do you think they didn't really care about the Carabao Cup, and that was not like a main focus to them? They was like, whatever, if we win it, we win it. It is what it is. Let's move on. We have bigger fish to fry. The Champions League, the Premier League. Let's focus on that. Let's put all our eggs in those baskets, and whatever happens for the Carabao Cup happens. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's probably like that because it doesn't make sense how we went from Man City, those amazing goals,
Mm-hmm.
coming off of that high confidence,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that we're down 2 on aggregate. We
Yeah.
should have felt the same way going into that game. Obviously, the atmosphere at the St. James Park is completely different. But do you
Mhm.
think they cared about that cup? Do you think Arteta was like, "Yo, whatever. It's not obviously it's a game. You have to win, but it's okay if you win. We're gonna go to the bye. Let's
Mhm.
focus on the Champions League. Let's
Mhm.
just put out all our eggs in those baskets."
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's very interesting you say that. I think two things actually. The first thing I think they did care, right? I think the lineup says it all. If Mikel
Yeah,
didn't care and you want to preserve the health of the players, I think we would have seen a much rotated lineup, in my opinion. But I think they did care. Maybe the players weren't in it because Dubai was coming up, maybe. But in addition to that, too, if you want to talk about the tactical side of the game, Bournemouth showed us the recipe, the formula to beating a team like Newcastle. They beat them 5-0 at their ground, I think.
yeah,
Or was it 4-1? I forgot. The reality is a team like Newcastle, you can't really you have to let them come to you, right? If you play them if you give them what they want, which is a transition game, it's not going to be good for us, for City, for any team that plays a very high line, right? I think that's where guys like Anthony Gordon and Isak were feasting. Saliba and Gabriel, literally, they were alone, and it was always going to be a difficult game if we give them exactly what they want. So I
yeah,
think Newcastle, if we ourselves set deeper, right, and if you match them, maybe even play the mid block, it would have been a way harder for Newcastle because they have a hard time at breaking down low blocks. They don't know how to break down teams that are much deeper into the field. They don't have a creative genius like Odegaard or De Bruyne, so they don't know how to carve teams apart. But if you give them a chance to run in behind with their
yeah.
athletes and
Fast breaks.
Isak and Gordon, it's not going to be good. And they showed it to us, right? They showed
Yeah,
it to us. I believe Howe played a 5-4-1, literally five defenders, four midfielders, and only one lone striker. And
mhm,
even then, they were still creating multiple chances. So
yeah,
the reality is, I think tactically, Mikel Arteta was outclassed by Howe, and
yeah,
then, and I think for a while now they've been our bogey team. I don't know what it is about Newcastle.
yeah.
Physically, they dominate us. We just can't seem to catch a break at St. James Park. It's just this is 3 years in a row now. They beat us away, and it's difficult. It's difficult.
I just wonder how Joe Willock is feeling, man. Every time he
Oh
plays
my
against
God,
us,
he's feeling himself.
he's
He
like,
is feeling
I
himself.
made the right move. I made the right move.
Oh,
But
yeah,
now he's in the final, so
yeah,
kudos to them. I hope they win. I hope they beat
yeah, yeah.
Liverpool because
Yeah.
Liverpool they're on the course to doing a quadruple.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully someone stops them, and
Oh yeah.
hopefully that's the start of their downfall, so we can catch up at least. Uh, but yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. Any last thoughts before I let you go, man?
Last thoughts. I think I want to say, of course, I'm gonna say it again. I said it earlier in the video. These are the players Arsenal must sign no matter what. If not, players at their caliber, level of the caliber.
Yeah,
It's a must. It's needed. We need two Mavericks this summer. Second, my second thing I wanted to say is I believe the Lewis Skelly outrage this weekend about the celebration police coming out and about.
yeah,
That is pure racism, right? I don't want to hear it. It is racism. When other clubs do it, I 100% agree, but I 100% believe Arsenal are the most hated institution in the entire world.
yeah,
Not soccer team, the most hated soccer sports institution. And then I'm talking about Nigel. Think about a badminton team in Cambodia. Think about a bowling team in Siberia. I promise you, Arsenal are more hated than them. Like it is
probably,
ridiculous.
yeah,
The most hated sports team in the entire world. I cannot believe the rival fans coming to the defense of Man City, bowing down. Like, have you no shame? Have you no
yeah,
shame? It is disgusting. The pundits in Sky Sports. I could not believe what I was seeing. I could not believe what I was seeing.
yeah.
I think the world hated to see Arsenal winning 5-1. The world hated to see Lewis Skelly doing Holland celebration. It is disgusting and it's disgraceful. So I want to point that out too. And the last thing I want to say this. I say this every episode. It's a must. I have to say it. Arteta out, Kroenke's out, always and forever. You know this.
Fair enough, man. I'm still trusting the process, but we gonna see, man. I'm taking it game by game, but this one hurt, man. This one was frustrating to watch. This one was super frustrating to watch. And
Yeah,
also, just go. Sorry, I'm going back to the Newcastle game because it's just so frustrating. I saw a lot of things that just bugged me the wrong way, like
yeah.
Odegaard coming off too, like our
Hey,
captain coming off
hey,
too.
hey. I have never seen in my life how many times does a captain get subbed off at 60th minute? How many times? How many times? Think about that. Not even Jordan Henderson. I'm telling you, I have never seen in my life a captain hooked off this many times.
And,
All I gotta say is that says a lot. It's telling. It's telling.
yeah, it's kind of scary because we don't have any games until what, the 14th, the 15th that weekend. So we have a good week break. So there's no reason for like to sub him off for tiredness or anything like that to
I'm telling
conserve
you.
his
The reality is
that.
he's not good enough, and Arsenal have surpassed him. The project is above him now. That's the truth. And I want to tell you this too. He was never Mikel's guy. I hope you know that. That was Edu's recommendation. So I want to make that known. Should have never been captain. I've said this in my TikTok channel multiple times. Doesn't lead by example. I think it should have always been Saka, Gabriel, or Declan Rice. They lead by example, and they have the ferocity for it. They're leaders. They have the aura, the physical presence, and it's just big time players. It should have never been Odegaard. And I think for me, he has about 2 or 3 years time at this club before he's sold, if not benched for an Ethan or a better player.
We gonna see, man. We gonna see if your words is speaking
Yeah,
those
of
words into light. We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, that's all we got for y'all. Thank you for watching.
course.
I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Guys, peace.